Hi students, in the last period that we had seen the warming up, that is chit chat activities of this poem, you start dying slowly. Now in this period that we are going to see line by line, stanza by stanza, what does the poet wants us to do. The main thing is that now here you see this is a poem, and in this poem what is told in this poem, famous Chilean poet Pablo Neruda. This is a didactic poem in the very positive sense of the term. Unlike the many didactic poems imparting worn out pieces of advice, didactic means advisable, advice, the piece of advice. This poem is a very much appeals to the modern sensibilities. The poem reminds us once again the age old wisdom that life must flow and renew itself at every moment of its being. According to the poet, we must not be stagnant, repetitive, or conventional in the way we lead our lives. That is the important thing told in this poem. Now you see the first stanza of this poem. I read out the whole poem at first. Later on we will discuss stanza wise. If you do not travel, you do not read. If you do not listen to the sounds of life, if you do not appreciate yourself, you start dying slowly. When you kill your self esteem, when you do not let others help you, you start dying slowly. If you become a slave of your habits, walking every day on the same paths, if you do not change your routine, if you do not wear different colors, or you do not speak to those you don't know, you start dying slowly. If you avoid to feel passion and their turbulent emotions, those which make your eyes glisten and your heart beat fast, you start dying slowly. If you do not change your life when you are not satisfied with your job or with your love, if you do not risk what is safe for the uncertain, if you do not go after a dream, if you do not allow yourself at least once in your lifetime to run away from sensible advice. Now, students, this is the poem. I read it. Now, line by line, stanza by stanza, we have to discuss. Now, you see the first stanza. If you do not travel, if you do not read, if you do not listen to the sounds of life, if you do not appreciate yourself, you start dying slowly. It means if one ignores traveling, reading, listening to the sounds of life, knowing one's own qualities, keeping yourself, that is, you are start dying slowly. When you kill your self-esteem, when you do not let ourselves, you start dying slowly. It means know yourself, know thyself म्हणतो आपण. Know one's own qualities, keeping your self-respect, telling others to help you, then one can lead to slow death. If you become a slave of your habits, walking every day on the same path, if you do not change your routine, if you do not wear different colors, or you do not speak to those you don't know, you start dying slowly. Also, if one becomes a slave of one's habit, does the same things every day without changing, the routine, wears the same colors, avoids speaking to strangers. One can also lose one can also lose his or her happy future. It means dying slowly. To lose one's happy future is dying slowly. Now you see, we should know our own character, our good qualities and abilities. We must feel proud for having them all. Your self esteem should be reflected in your behavior. In this way, we can protect our self esteem. Self esteem, we have to be very proud of, to feel proud ourselves. That is self esteem. And it is important, your self esteem should be reflected in your behavior. That is the most important thing. Now you see the next. If you avoid to feel passion and their turbulent emotions, those which make your eyes glisten and your heart beat fast, you start dying slowly. You see, here the poet advises us to be passionate. If we are not satisfied with our job or love, change our ways of life. Turbulent emotions, those which make your eyes glisten and your heart beat fast, you start dying slowly. If you do not change your life when you are not satisfied with your job or with your love, if you do not risk what is safe for the uncertain, if you do not go after a dream, if you do not allow yourself at least once in your lifetime to run away from sensible advice. What it means? Be always ready to take any risk courageously. Go after our dream with perseverance. Ignore a sensible advice at least once in your lifetime. If we follow these pieces of advice, we will make our life worthy of living. It is the main thing. The last stanza, the last line of the last stanza, to run away from sensible advice. It gives us the significant thing. It means you will lose your hope of happy future. You will lose your hope of happy future. The last line of the last stanza is incomplete. To run away from sensible advice, what will happen? You will lose your happy future. You will lose your happy future. It means hope of happy future will be lost by you in the future. This is the main advice. Students, at last, one thing, the theme or the central idea, we may say, the poem is that our life must flow and renew itself at every moment of its being. When we enrich ourselves with new knowledge, wide experience, fresh emotions, daring encounters, and exciting challenges, then only we live our life fully. If we live stagnant, repetitive, or conventional life, we start dying slowly instead of living fully satisfied life. That is the most important thing. And if you do not change your life, you start dying slowly, lose the hope of future life. That is. Now you are understood the poem. That is, you start dying slowly. Okay, students. Now you go to the next point, that is, in the poem the turbulent. Now you see, complete the wave diagram. Activity based poetic devices are there. Turbulent emotions, sensible advice. Turbulent maybe storm, condition, crowd or mob, sea waves, weather, these things. And glistening eyes, glistening fish, here wet streets, snow capped mountains, such type. Sensible advice, sensible dialogue is there, sensible ideas are there. Person may be sensible and deal may also be sensible. Now you have to look all those things in a poem. Now appreciation of the poem is important. Students, the title of the poem is known to you, the poet is also known to you, the theme and the central idea of the poem you are come to know. Now you see, rhyme scheme. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. It is written in free-verse style without regular stanza divisions or meter. Now figure of speech, the main figure of speech is used in this poem is repetition of the same word or group of words to at the beginning of successive lines. The word if you do not are repeated at the beginning of successive lines in many places in the poem. That's why it is called figure of speech used in this poem is anaphora, repetition of the words. Special features are there. This poem is a didactic poem, that is piece of advice.